Hey everybody, it's Coach Shannon from the Bridge here at Fiddlers. Wanted to thank you today for coming to our arms and abs for golf with Gia and myself. As promised, I am going to walk through all the exercises that we did today so that you can follow along anytime you want and pull up this YouTube video wherever you are in the world. So we started out our warm-up with shoulder cars. Right, so I'm gonna reach out as far as I can, all the way up to my end range of motion and then twist my arm. So I'm gonna do this on both sides, about 5 to 10, but I'm gonna go in each direction. And again, as I mentioned today, that I was holding my rib cage down so that I was keeping my torso right over my ribs. I'm not flaring, I'm not anterior pelvic tilting, I'm trying to keep everything stacked nice. Then we went protraction and retraction, right? So we went protraction forward and retraction back, right? So that was the hug the tree and then open up to the sun. So we're really working those scapula, we're working the shoulder blades, we're working the shoulder complex, everything. So this really just kind of feels so good from the side. You can see very rounded and then opening up. So we're really creating these opposite range movements. Then what I did was I grabbed the golf club overhead. So we're going to go halos and we're going to basically orbit the head. So I'm not moving the body. I am just rotating around the head and in each direction. I went probably about 5 to 10 repetitions. And again, trying to keep the torso over, my ribs over my hips, right? So I'm not arched. I'm not sticking anything out, there's no pelvic tilt, right? It's all neutral in that case. And then we did the Cuban press. So we came up into sort of this internal rotation. I went external and then pressed up overhead. So same thing. And we did this about, I don't know, I'd say 6 to 8, even 10 repetitions. You're really gonna feel this warm up in your shoulders and your scapula and your shoulder blades. So again, it's a lift to internal, we rotate to external and then press overhead and reverse. Come back down to 90, I rotate internally and then release. So again, that's the Cuban press. And you can do that without, here's what it looks like without any club in your hand. If you happen to just be somewhere and you don't have a club or you didn't want to use it, this is what it would look like without. And then the final one I did was a little rotation over that front leg. So I went into a split stance. So my back heel is up, my front heel is down, nice and locked down, core is tight, glutes are tight, and I'm gonna rotate my straight arms. And this is just my torso, right? So I'm not moving my hips, we're disassociating lower body from the upper body. So I did about 5 to 10 reps on each forward leg, right? So just a little, I'm gonna keep my legs still and quiet and just rotate that upper body. If you don't have a club, you can just do this without anything. You can use a towel, a shirt, anything that might just try to keep your arms straight and out front. All right, then we went into our program. So that was the warm-up. That was about, what, 4 or 5 exercises for the warm-up. Everything's really feeling good, shoulders, T-spine. And then we went into our arm portion. So we started out with our row. All right, so we went into our little bent stance. My back is flat. My hips are in neutral spine. So I'm not extended and I'm not rounded either. I'm just in this nice neutral. Arms are out front and I'm just gonna literally drag this club up to my belly button. I'm gonna squeeze my shoulder blades behind me. And I'm gonna exhale on the pole. So I'm gonna keep my feet together, kind of just nice, soft, athletic stance, sort of your 5-iron posture, and just pull. We did overhand, and now we do underhand. So you can do this with dumbbells, you can do this with water bottles, you can do it with nothing if you want. You really don't even need. What I'm doing is I'm squeezing my shoulder blades together and really retracting those muscles. All right, then we went into curls. So my elbows are close to the sides, like I've got a little piece of mail or I'm squeezing oranges underneath my armpits. So I'm gonna just curl, right? I'm gonna be in a nice soft stance. So knees are slightly bent, glutes are tight, core is tight, and I'm just gonna right? So I'm gonna curl here for 10, and then I'm gonna go overhand for 10. So we're gonna curl both ways. And really it's just sort of, again, like Gia said, to fatigue those arms, right? We kind of wanna just make them a little bit tired so that we're throwing the arms and we're kind of just swinging. Like for today, we were just really doing this beautiful arm swinging. And it was amazing to see the ball just trajectory just to go when we just swung the arms and we kept the rest of the body quiet. Okay, cool. Then we went into our extensions overhead. So we did the biceps, now we do the triceps in the back. So for this, I like a little split stance. I'm gonna just basically drop my hands behind my head, the elbows come up, so they're by my ears. So I'm gonna inhale down, exhale up. Show you what this looks from the side. Again, we're stacking the body. So meaning my ribs are over the hips, right? I'm not arching anywhere, and all I'm focusing on is bending from the elbows and extending. So bend and extend, right overhead, and I'm working those triceps. So about 10 to 12 reps there. Then we went into a little we went to the reverse lunges. So front rack, right? We keep this on our shoulders. Now if you had dumbbells here, they would be sort of in a hammer style front rack. The dumbbell would be on the shoulder, right? So we have the golf club here. I'm gonna step back, and then my arms are gonna go up, and then I'm gonna stand. And you can alternate legs. Inhale, exhale. Inhale down, exhale up. So you're just gonna alternate legs. And presses overhead. Very nice. All right, then we're gonna go into a little front lunge, right? So front step, and we're gonna rotate that press side to side. So I'm gonna step forward, I'm gonna be out front, right? And then as I come back, I'm gonna retract that arm. So I'm gonna step forward and bring it back, extend. So side to side, I'm gonna step forward, and I'm going to bend my arms side to side. So think about almost like doing a chest press. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, pull, exhale, push. Inhale, pull, exhale, push. So I'm just alternating side to side, stepping forward, each time a nice gentle lunge. All right, and then the last one we did was that half kneeling chop. So we're locking down that lower body, hips are nice and tight, core is tight, glutes are tight. And we're gonna go from the pocket of the leg that is down to the shoulder of the leg that is up. So arms are straight, and we're gonna rotate that torso. So this, again, another disassociation exercise, right? Almost like you're trying to throw something out. We're throwing the arms, and that's exactly what Gia was teaching us today, was to throw the arms. So this was very relevant to our movement today. So I'm gonna switch those legs, get about 10 on each side, turning that torso, keeping the pelvis, hips, glutes, all nice and tight, locked down. Inhale, exhale, throw it. Ready? Throw those arms, boom. This is great. This is a great way to transition. Now we're in the half kneeling position. We're gonna go down to the ground for our core. So I'm gonna keep it really simple. I know some of those exercises today were a little bit hard to coordinate, so bear with me here as we hit the ground. So we're gonna start off on the ground with our basic dead bug. All right, so as I mentioned, I'm on the floor, my arms are straight up, and my feet are as close to my hind knee as I can get, and then I'm just gonna rotate them up. All right, so here's the dead bug position. My back is flat, right, and I'm gonna extend my right arm and my left leg, and I'm gonna bring them back to center. I'm gonna inhale out, exhale in. Inhale, exhale. I'm gonna keep that low back, constant contact on the floor. If you wanna lift your head and shoulders, this does make it a little harder, but you do get more engagement in that core. So what we did today was I used the golf club and I put it up on my knees, all right, and I pushed it into my knees. And so I lifted my head and I extended one leg at a time. And again, I kept one knee up so that my pelvis is always set in neutral, right? And you can also put your head on the floor for this, but it's
easier to keep your low back down if you're lifting your head. Just a little bit. Pull that tummy in. Don't let it dome. Pull it into your spine. Don't let it puff up.
All right, so those are 2 variations of the dead bug. Now we're gonna go to those long leg sort of bicycles, right?
So here's your regular bicycle. Okay, so knees are up and my fingers are just behind my ears. So I'm gonna go elbow to opposite knee, and I'm gonna rotate back and forth. All right, that's your basic bicycle. Now, what I did was a little variation on that. And I brought my arms up in the air and the legs up in the air. And so I did the same thing. I just was doing a twist with the golf club side to side so that the opposite hand, right, my opposite elbow is going for my knee. So opposite elbow to knee, twisting back and forth. Woo, I am feeling this in those abs.
All right, beautiful. So I would say for all of those, you know, it's either 30 seconds or it's 10 reps on each side until you really start to feel the core sort of heat up. Okay, so as we continue, we also did Pilates 100. Any kind of hollow hold, right? And by hollow, I mean this space right here is hollow, right? So between my legs and my arms is this beautiful hollow space. You can just hold this. This is a wonderful position. My back is flat on the floor, low back is flat, and I'm just gonna hold. I'm gonna reach with my arms, I'm gonna look at the ceiling, and I'm already feeling that engagement, that isometric, non-moving stability exercise for your core is wonderful. And that allows you to keep the low back flat, legs are up, core is super tight. So the only thing really that's on the floor is just from my tailbone to my shoulders. That's it. Right, so I'm just reaching. And then there's variations from here where you can rock and reach for those toes, right? Rock back and forth, right? So this is another great variation on sort of this hollow hold, but now a hollow hold with rocking. So those are plenty of supinated or face up core exercises. And then what I wanted to do is get into a little bit of prone, okay? So prone meaning face down, all right? So we can go into a high plank, and then a low plank. So the high plank, and here's the big takeaway with a plank. If you are gonna do a plank, I see so much of this. If you're gonna do a plank, you need to engage the core. Watch, my tailbone is up in the air. I'm gonna pike. This is not, I feel nothing in my stomach. So I'm gonna make sure my shoulders are over the wrists, and I'm gonna tuck my tailbone. And I'm gonna push the earth away from me. This is what your plank should look like. If it doesn't, and you are not feeling it in your obliques, you're doing it wrong. Give me a call. All right, so we have the high plank. Work on your high plank. If you can hold it for 10 seconds, great. If you can hold it for 30, a minute and 20, 2 minutes, great. Keep going. Hold that plank. This is anti-rotation, core stability. It's exactly what you need for golf. We can also do a low plank, so on the forearms. A lot of people have like wrist issues. So here's your modification, is a low plank. So I'm forearms down, same thing. Body is flat, tailbone's tucked under, and I'm pushing up through my shoulders. So I'm pushing the earth away. I'm literally pushing my forearms into the ground to push my body and keep it stable. So those are 2 prone core exercises. Again, really tilting that tail or tilting your pelvis, right? So that we're in posterior tilt, so that you feel your belly button coming towards your spine. If you don't feel your core in a plank, you're not doing it right. We can get you there. It's absolutely no problem, and they're really beneficial. So taking the plank to another level if you want something a little bit harder, and you can do this from the low or the high, but I like to add in a little, you can either do a Spider-Man, right? So knees to same elbow. You can go cross body like a mountain climber, right? Or I have one more that I really love. I call it D's and L's. So you drive the knee up and you bring it all the way out. So it's a great move for the hips. And I do it on either side. So I go D's, I draw a D, and then when I'm done with 10 on either side, I'm gonna come up and go under. So it's an internal and external rotation on the hips while we're in this prone position, trying to hold that plank. Now if that's too advanced for you, don't go ahead and try it. Just work on your planks, keeping it simple, stupid. That's what I'm always saying to myself. So just keep it really simple. And go ahead and go through some of those different isometric supinated face up, or some of those stability core exercises that are in the prone position, just like the planks. We'll continue to build on this. There are 2 more exercises that I had for standing with the golf club I forgot to show you today. So I love these, right? We can just go side to side, big side bends. And if you really want to get funky, you can go leg out, leg crossover, right? You could do this, but I really like this with my feet together because it literally works the obliques, side to side. And then the last one we would do is arms up overhead, marching. So you're gonna drive those knees up and you're gonna pull that tummy in, right? So again, belly button to the spine. I'm keeping everything stacked. I'm driving my knee up as high as I can. My shoulders are down and out of my ears. I'm not shrugging them, but this great marching. So these are also really good core anti-rotation exercises. Now we're standing and using that golf club again. So this is pretty much everything we went through today. If you have any questions, shunt@fiddlerselbowcc.com. Reach out to me or reach out to Gia. She has my information. But I will hopefully see you at the next Arms and Abs for Golf with Gia, with Brandy, and myself. And hopefully we'll see you around the club. If there's anything I can do, let me know. I'm happy to help. Thanks.